where do you half guards these? Nice knee pops. Old man pops.
Old man pops.
Okay, so when we're here, you're gonna see that you're gonna have a more drastic effect on people's elbows if they use long frames. And you're gonna see that you have a more drastic effect on someone's wrists if they use short frames. Does that make sense?
It will.
You're trying to stop me from coming in, you use a long frame, aka sticking your hands out. Right? This has a more impact on your elbow.
Drag.
Right? If you use short frames, right, I have more impact on your wrist.
Dragon.
Right? So what I'm looking to do is capitalize on those abilities, right? So let's say you're reaching up for me for short frame, right? You're going for an underhook, right? I pinch. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right, so I can either hug over. Can you now move your elbow vertically?
Nope.
Underhooks. Right. Same thing, using the same arm. Does this feel very good?
Nope.
Right? But why? It's because it has the effect on the elbow, right? I'm looking to control the elbow. This is where we can get into these weird dilemmas, right? So if people use a long frame, we have strong emphasis on the ability to control elbows. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now, if we get into short frames, we're going to, see how this one's a long frame? Short frame is just like this, right? Using these frames. Now we see that we have very little effect on the elbow. Keep your elbows tight, right? Don't let me move them, right? Send them out again. Don't let me move it. See how I can still pretty much go whatever direction I want, right? Now, I'm gonna move your elbow. Keep tight. Not gonna happen, right? Now, I'm gonna do the opposite, right? You're gonna extend, right? And I'm gonna try to move your wrist, right? But I want it to have meaningful to the periphery, right? To the core, right? So periphery being external, me moving this, right, is pretty easy. But what does it actually do to your body? Nothing if you don't want it to. You should just relax. Right?
Yeah.
So, controlling the wrist at a distance doesn't really do me much, right? So what I'm looking to do is in the short, I'm looking to not move this, but move this. You see how the wrist has way more force because you're using short frame. Yeah. Right? So it's very easy for me to move. I just have to be able to trap the elbow. Whether or not I'm trapping it with my body, another arm, right, or the floor, these are going to be big determinations of what happened, right? So let's say you're using short frame. Does that make sense? Yep. Okay, now, note, this is just like as a concept so you can see it. This works in both directions, and not only does it work with your arms, it also works with legs. Gotcha. All right, so we know if the leg is further away, we can do the same exact thing to a knee. We know if the feet are close, and we can get this knee. Yeah. Does that make sense? Perfect. Okay, so that's the dangers of short and long frames. This is why this toe holds a fucking menace. Yeah. Right? Because why? You have a short frame, and it's right there. Yep. Right? That's why this wrist lock is so easy to snag. Right? This wrist lock is so easy to snag. Yeah. Does that make sense? Okay, so this is the dangers of short and long frames. Does that make sense? Yep. Do you want to play with that for a little bit? Yeah. Okay. All right, to look at long frame initially, right, and then going into a short frame, because you're going to use the long frame elbow control and feed into a short frame one. Okay. So we'll be here, right? Same thing. I have the most control of the elbow. Now I'm in short frame. right? Now I can use that short frame, keeping the most control of the wrist. Or vice versa. Right? Use long frame. Right? Same concept. I have the most control of the elbow. Now we're into the short frame. If you're going to use short frame, you use long frame. It's great. Again, double control for the elbow. Right? You use short frame, aka using it against my body. I'm going to look at the wrist. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Questions, comments?
Just trying to get back into it.
Fair enough. All right, give it a try.
Okay.
So, what we're going to look at is being able to capture or to pass through, right? You see how, again, I'm controlling here, right? See how I'm on the same side? Now I'm either using it to pass through. You stop me from passing your guard, right? Now I'm going to use that short frame and my pass your guard. This is all we're looking for, right? For this control. One, I'm stopping your ability to rotate, and I'm actually applying the ability to rotate. Does that make sense? So, I'm going to catch whatever long frame, right? Now, can you rotate successfully that way? No. But I can. Right? Now that I've rotated successfully this way, do you see where we're at?
Yeah.
Right. So, although a weird concept of like applying, this works both directions, right?
Okay.
So like, let's say I'm trying to go this way, right? Frames are coming up to meet me, or I'm coming in, driving in, there's frames there, right? I'm so sorry. You're gonna take that elbow, right? I pin. I can force rotation. See, I forced you to turn towards me.
Yeah.
Right? That allows the pass to be very easy, because as soon as your hips.
Yeah.
What's actually stopping me?
Just the knee.
Just the knee, right? So if I'm in here, right, and I get this motion, what's stopping me? Right? Just the fact that your legs are going to be able to, like, grip my legs. Now, I want to go this way. They don't grip anything. Are we tracking?
Yeah.
Questions?
You're gonna say it one more time.
Yeah. Which one?
The first one.
Yep.
God, you're deaf.
Okay, so today we are working on Kimuras and Americanas, but what I really want y'all to do is I want you to look at elbow placement, right? If the elbow is in front of the body, right, and close to the center, this is where you should be doing Americanas, right? If the elbow is away from the body or behind the body, this is where we do Kimuras. Does that make sense? All right, I just want you to basically take your partner, they're gonna stand just like this, right? And you're going to move their arm, and you'll be like, oh, that's easy. That's easy. And I want you to look at where the elbow is in relation to them, where you're performing both an Americana and a Kimura. Does that make sense? Perfect, go play. All right, so we talked about how we're looking and how we can manipulate, right? So when we're doing things, right, and they attach to us or any of that, where's his hand?
There.
Oh, right? If he grabs me and pulls me, where's his hand?
Kimura.
Right, so I want y'all to look at these elbows and realize where and when you can basically manipulate them. If they are staying super tight like this, and I simply do something in this fashion, what happens to his elbow? Right? A human body only moves certain ways, right? If I pull his arm, now his arm is away from his body, right? Or I'm here, his arm is away from his body. Right? All these manipulations all happen the same way. Now, note, next thing, right? When an arm is far away, and if we have some type of control of a wrist, we have the most amount of impact on an elbow, right? AKA, if he's pressing me away, and I do something of this fashion, right? You see how much effect I have on his elbow.
Oh.
Does that make sense? Now, let's say he's using a short frame, aka his elbow is against me. I have the most impact on his wrist. Does this make sense for y'all? I want y'all to play with that now. Does that make sense? Okay. When we're doing these types of things, we're actually type of attack that we're doing is a shoulder attack or an elbow attack, right? Those felt two different attacks, right? Same thing, other direction, right? Rotational attack or an elbow attack, right? These are the two things that we're going to attack. Today, we are going to look at adding rotation, so we actually attack the shoulder, right? If we wanted to attack the elbow, right, we can just apply more force to the elbow and isolate it, right? Does that make sense? So it's no different than this, right? Any type of break of this fashion, right? We're looking to break this elbow, so we put it under the most amount of torque, don't allow it to move, and pop, right? Cool. Most commonly done incorrectly is the shoulder lock right here. You feel how that engages your shoulder. Now if I drive forward, that's very uncomfortable and causes motion. If he could not move, air quotes, my body's here, and I did this, right? He's kind of done for. Does that make sense? All right, so what I'm doing is I'm actually rotating his limb. Because what it's doing is it's putting his shoulder under tension. You see how that does this? All I'm doing is rotating his limb. Now, we just did
rotation or extension,
right? These motions, right, where we did this. Now I want you to rotate them while you do it. Does that make sense? Tracking? Right. Just twist their arm, like so. Right? Now,
makes it sound so simple.
you're here. You're going to twist, apply pressure. Twist, apply pressure. Right? Be gentle with each other, but I just want you to do that kind of manipulation. Does that make sense? Cool. Go play. No one said anything. All right. So this can be applied in whatever plane we are in, right? If I am in the same plane as he is, right? AKA, we were just working all that stuff, right? There's just the ability for him to take a step back. So this is limiting, right? Well, as soon as the floor is involved, right, we change this, right? Or if the point where him being able to move, and there's something in between him and his ability to move, aka me, right? So if you ever see people finish these standing, right, they either drive them to the floor, and then they have no further motion to take, and then you can take it, right? Or they drive them so far back, right, that they're actually going to end up going to the floor, right? Or they drive them into themselves, so he can't go anywhere, and then we break them, right? Note, that is when we have nothing in between us. This gets amplified, right, when we go to the ground. Right? We'll just do this. This is fine, right? So if I'm here, right, he can't go backwards. The problem is, sometimes you also can't go backwards. There's a floor. So that being in mind,
Bring him to you.
now he can't go forward, right? Because I'm between him and the forward. That's like what we're trying to look at, right? I know, right, that he wants to come towards me when I'm doing this, right? Because he wants to get this elbow out from his center line, right? If he turns this direction, right, that does not get his elbow out from his center line. In fact, it makes it worse, right? He starts to turn the other direction, right? and then he straightens his arm or any of that kind of stuff. Cool. Then I'm not going to have it. Right? Now, note, I'm preventing him from being able to turn towards me. Does that make sense? Now, I'm going to add the same kind of rotation in, right? The same effect, right? All the same things that we were just doing. But when we are looking at the shoulder attack, right, we're looking at how much elbow control we actually are getting, right? The ability to affect the elbow is the ability to affect the shoulder. People most commonly attack the wrist when they do this, right? That's why you see people, they grab and they go, yar, right? You see how I'm dragging, you see how much motion that's in that? No. You see how his elbow's up to the sky already?
A little bit of rotation.
That, right there, right? That little motion. I could rip all of his shoulder, right? Because it's already under so much tension. Now, if it's in or out, this makes it even worse, right? Because it's where the elbow is in conjunction with the shoulder, right? If I press it in, that feels way worse, doesn't it, right? If I push it out, right, way worse, right? Because, again, it's under its extension and under tension, right? If I join them together, exactly. If I join them together, I move this much, right? So that's all I have to move, because the shoulder doesn't move. Does that make sense? So we're going to either compress it, extend it, turn it, and we're looking to control the elbow, right? The elbow has the desired effect. People who are playing around with your wrist, right, they're giving you time to escape. Don't play around with people's wrists. Take their elbows, right? And the reason why I say this is because I don't do traditional lockups. That's done. Does that make sense? I don't have to be like this, lock it up. No, fuck that shit. Right? I'm having the same exact effect. Right?
That's why you showed us that key lock from the back.
It's all the same thing. A hammer lock, right? If I'm on his back, like so, and I'm like, oh, cool, right? And I'm just like this. It's right there. Same thing, right? His wrist can't go, elbow control. I'm attacking the shoulder, so I add rotation, right? Easy.
I just want to say, you're one of the sole reasons I like kinesiology.
Is everyone tracking though?
Perhaps you can say that. Can you spell it?
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
When we're looking at this, a lot of people tell you have to capture over, right? We can get the same exact effect.
Ooh.
Right. So I'm doing that type of rotation just in his wrist. This happens. Yeah.
Could you? I know in some tournaments wrist locks are a little bit are not legal.
White belt, no, don't even.
I wasn't thinking. I wasn't thinking.
First off, continue your conversation.
Could you? But not using it as a submission. Could you use it to mimic? Could get someone in a position, better position.
In my personal opinion, you can do anything you would like,
No.
right? If a human body can move that way, understand that there are risks to it, right? I almost broke Daniel's in the morning, right? Wrist the other day, right? Because I was holding it, and he tried to suck me in, right? Do a knee pull, which is smart, right? Because you would do that unless someone's holding you and your elbows on the ground and you make them fall, right? I was very fast to let go, and his wrist is purple. Like, he went to pull and I did this to let go, and it's still purple because it takes this much force to break it. And imagine my body falling. So the reason why wrist locks are, air quote, dangerous is because the amount of force to break this
Very minimal.
is very slight, right? It's the reason why we don't do things like this, right? The ability to break fingers is so easy, right? And they break in so many different ways that the human, right, if he's attacking my fingers, right, it's very hard for me to respond in time for them not to be broken, right? So if I'm wrist locking people, right, normal thing, now we're on a wrist lock, right? You can absolutely do them, right? Know their dangers and understand that things like this, right, take very little force and pressure to break. That's it, right? That's why they're dangerous, because people don't understand them and they try to fight against them, and it's already, if it hurt, it was broken. They just didn't break it for you.
So similar principle with leg locks, why they're dangerous.
No, leg locks don't hurt, and that's why they're dangerous.
Mm.
So a leg lock, come on, can I put you in this suit on? Right? Leg lock is dangerous because he doesn't know he's in danger yet, right? This is not very painful, is it? Right? That's broken, right? Me being this distance, I can break this, right? That's simple, right? You can feel that, right? But
Oh, yeah.
does your knee feel tight right now? Right? That is maybe an inch worth of difference from me snapping it.
Mm.
Those little thingies, there's no pain, right? You don't feel pain. You feel how tight your knee is, right? Imagine I'm not like this. Imagine I am. Right? That's still tight. It can't move. And that's when it snaps. Does that make sense?
It does.
So people don't feel any pain. So I get here and you're like, oh, that's not that bad. Yeah, it is. We're right at the point where I could just come home with it. Right?
That makes sense.
So you gotta be careful with things like that. Because there's no pain. If you don't know that you're fucked, right, you're like, why would I tap? Okay.
Because you want to be able to walk.
Right? If you felt pain in a wrist lock, they probably could have broke it. Right? They just chose not to. They chose to go, choop, little bit, ah, right? As a warning.
Just
Like,
I got what you're saying.
right? I got sidetracked. What was I talking about?
You're running through the, bending something around again, and then it brought up wrist locks. You're just putting in a few different positions of manipulation, right?
Okay. Okay. So we're here, and you see I can cause these types of manipulations. Now, no, I don't have to use my hand.
What?
Right? If I'm here and I'm like this, I don't have to use my hand. I'm using my body, I'm using my head, right? These types of things, right, we can use. But note, anything you can do to the upper body, you can do to the lower body. And the reason I bring this up, can you go to half guard? We're in half guard, right? He wants to put a knee shield in front of me. What is this? What is this? It's the same principle as the short frame, right? He's trying to frame on my body. That put this frame right in front of me. Right in front of me. I have the most amount of effect on his foot, right? Now, his foot's further away. I have the most amount of effect on his knee. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if I'm here and he's like, I don't want my foot anywhere near you, and you go, cool, thanks.
Oh.
Oh shit.
Weird, right?
There.
Cool. All right, now we show it where we can actually rotate it. All right. I want it to come in. I want it to go away.
Is that more of a groin one?
It is. But that's the shoulder. What is the hip?
Oh, okay. I got you.
Your hip and your shoulder are very similar. Different in many ways, right? But like, you can attack them in the same exact way almost. Does that make sense?
It does.
Cool. So anything that I can do up here,
You could do John Mayer.
I can do those types of hip locks
Okay.
Oh.
here, right? Note, legs are strong as shit. So if you're gonna do this, be in a position where you can be strong as shit, right?
That was not a happy noise.
Oh my god.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. All right.
Just
So I want you to remember, they also need the ability to be able to move. Now the floor's in between me and him, this won't move that way, right? But as soon as I come up, that's no different than this. Can't get it? Tracking.
Full track.
All right, go play. Last thing is just going to be me showing you that you can do this in the down position as well. This doesn't change, right? So let's say we're playing half guard, right? And I'm like, oh, I want something. He sticks his arm out. Cool. I can stop I can use, right? I can use the same type of method, right? This is the Americana, right? His elbow is in the center of his body, right? I'm gonna pull it, boom, right? Does that make sense? Now, his elbow gets away from his body, right? But I don't have to just, again, use my arm. Does that make sense? Like, you can do this in any position, right? If I'm in guard, right? And he's, again, posting his hands, cool, right? Go ahead, post your hands on my body, right? What happens?
You
Right?
make the elbows flare.
He's keeping me pinned down, right? He's like, oh, I'm gonna keep him down. And I simply do this.
Oh.
Simple.
It's all the same stuff, right? And you can see how it feeds. Now, he's keeping his elbows nice and tight, and I simply do this. He's like, oh, I ain't get caught again. He ain't getting my elbows. I'm like, cool. Does that make sense?
It does.
Right? So, like, when people learn about elbow and, like, target identification, right, this becomes important. When I see his elbows that are super close in, and again, remember, when the elbows are close, I have the most effect on a wrist, right? This allows me to work into things, right? Or to open things up. Does that make sense? Now, let's say he's like, oh, I'm going to be looser with my elbows, so I don't want that, right? And they're further away from his body. Further away from his body, right? So I'm going to use that type of motion to move into my other things. Are we tracking?
Traction.
Cool. Now, we see I can do this from the bottom position. We've seen I can do it from the top. Now, that's like the whole thing we're doing, right? For the next little bit, right, we're going to go over Kimuras. And this was your introduction. You're going to get better at them, I promise, right? But just know the types of effects that you're looking for, right? And how to maximize the effects once you get them. Does that make sense? Right? Is this a shoulder or an elbow? Right? Because it's twisted, right? If I wanted the elbow, now I'm on the elbow. This is different, isn't it? Right? So just know what effect you want and how to produce it. And I want you really to think about it. I don't really care if you can do it just yet, because you have weeks to learn how to do this. Does that make sense? Perfect. All right.